Uh, yeah, I'm back sooner than I expected, but I don't know, I just had this urge to get in front of the camera again. Don't really know why, just did. We were looking at really sunny morning out there. Plenty of reason to love life, right? Love life, enjoy it, you know, live it up while we're young, all that bullshit. Eh, meanwhile, here I am, just trying to carve out a little bit of time between shifts at work before I head back. Try to make back all the money that I spend every month. Oh god, it's been a lot. And what have I been spending it on? Video games, the occasional movie, more video games, gaming and anime figures, because apparently that's a thing that I do now. And you can kind of see a little bit on the wall over there. I've got some disc plates, which have eaten up a disproportionate amount of my uh, disposable income over the last 2 or 3 months. So yeah, last summer I bought my first one. It's actually the I think you can see it in the frame here. Um, it's the one. It's one closer to the lens, further from the corner. Um, that was the first one I bought. And then well, it just kind of exploded from there. Early this year, I bought a couple more, and then a couple more, and a couple more, and now I've actually got more disc plates than I really have uh, room to comfortably display them. And yet, I have a bunch on my wish list and in my cart. It's just right for me to pull the trigger on the purchase button. Oh, shit. Sorry. God, I hate when I have my hair up like that. Just adds too much of that masculine look that I hate. But yeah, so speaking of masculine look and gender stuff, I think it's actually the underlying reason why I'm doing this today. I don't know if I'm going to be able to articulate it well or not because I'm pretty well wiped out for the night. But I don't know. I've just been thinking a lot, worrying a lot about where I stand and essentially how it translates over to my safety. I mean, it becomes more of an issue for me as I press forward uh, through time, especially with uh, my road trip in a couple of weeks. I'll be heading down to Tennessee for the annual Camp Icon event with Icon for Hire. And yeah, I'm driving down there, renting a car, driving down there. Unfortunately, the route I have to take to get there, it's 12 to 13 hours depending on which route I take. But I'm going to wind up in a situation where I have to pass through a bunch of, for just to be blunt, states that are very hostile toward trans people, and by extension the wider LGBTQ community. I mean, And yeah, I'd be lying if I said that didn't have me on edge. And if I'm being truthful about it, my biggest concern right now isn't my appearance, because, well, I think I passed fairly well, as is. You know, my mannerisms, I don't know. I was always told that my mannerisms kind of gave me away as being trans even before I came out. So I took that, to me that my mannerisms were really more feminine in nature anyway, because I was at the time presenting as male. So not too worried about that either. What I am worried about, unfortunately, is something I've been working on, but just making so little progress on, and that is my voice, my natural voice. And yeah, I know I had to have gone over this before, but just humor me if you would. I mean, I go through these days, and the way my voice sounds, it varies so wildly depending on who I'm talking to. And I kind of hate that. Because if you're someone that I've known for years and years, and you knew me before I started transitioning, I just instinctively hit a lower octave, and I'll sound more, sound more like this for the most part. And yeah, I know it's not super deep, but I know that it's low enough that it can give me away. And what if I accidentally slip into that octave when I'm talking to you know Joe Dirt over in fucking Kentucky along the way? You know, then what happens to me? Do I run for my life? Do I escape? Do I get targeted by the stereotypical maggots out there, or do I just slip under the radar? Okay, I just heard a snap of some kind. Can't be good. Okay. Am I imagining things, or is the curtain moving? Or is that just the shade from the branches outside? Oh, God. 1 second. 1 second here. Yeah, I'm also paranoid about my home repairs. Keep thinking I see things moving, like the curtains and the blinds, because that would mean that I have a draft, which come this winter would mean higher power bills. Like I'm not paying enough already for that. Anyway, that's a tangent for another time. Right now, I'm just, I worry, like I was saying, about, the consistency of my voice. How sometimes I'll be able to, strike a higher pitch, a higher octave, and speak in a more feminine voice. And other times I couldn't nail that voice to save my life. And here I am planning to take an entire weekend in in states and counties that don't necessarily like my kind. So I'm just here like I I want to and I need to be as stealth as possible out there. But the question becomes, will I be able to do it and do it consistently? I mean, therein lies the question. Am I prepared enough mentally, physically, psychologically? Do I have the fortitude and the mastery of my toolkit, to pass consistently for a 3-day venture? And honestly, I don't know. I worry about it just because of the potential danger it could pose if I wind up outing myself with a vocal slip up. I mean, I don't know. I probably, yeah, you probably don't understand where I'm coming from here, but the off chance that you do, I don't know. I feel kind of stuck about this whole thing. I mean, I need to go. I need to go do this. I will regret it so much if I don't go. I mean, plus I've already paid for the ticket. I paid for hotel. I've got the car reserved. I got a second hotel reserved for the second night. And I have all this shit in play, you know, that you have to reserve so far in advance. And I'm just like, how could I back out from that and not regret it? The short answer is I can't. Especially knowing what Icon for Hire means for me. I mean, yeah, they might just think of them as just a band, but to me, that their art, you know, Rel's book, um, their songwriting, the lyrics, the delivery, their stage presence, it all just reaches me on this level that I never thought possible, and maybe I did think possible when I was younger, but I haven't felt that in years until I got back into their music. So I'm just kind of, it's like I'm drawn to this, and if I don't go, I will regret it. But am I going to be able to, to pull off this? I don't want to say facade because it really isn't a facade, but am I going to be able to convince everyone that I am what they perceive me to be, without inadvertently shattering that perception? Maybe. And if I don't, well, then what? So yeah, that's been the big thing on my mind lately. I'm just, I'm always worried about something, It's who I've always been. It's what I've always been. Just a a chronic worrier, because in my experience, every time I get comfortable with something, especially with my position in life, something happens to just shatter that into a million pieces, and I just wind up like, well, fuck, now I gotta pick all this shit up and start over again. I mean, it's happened to me so many times over the years, especially with jobs or with car repairs and any kind of major expenditure. it seems like every time I just get settled in and get comfy, something happens that depletes, my money, my mental health, my security in life just goes. So I've learned I learned to perpetually be on the lookout for something going wrong, like all the time. And right now, it is the possibility of being outed as trans when I venture down to uh, the Nashville area, and maybe it'll all be for nothing. I don't know, but yeah. So that's my big concern right now. Let's see how much time has passed. It's about 16 minutes. Yeah, sure. I got a little more time yet. My sleep aids haven't kicked in just yet, so see if I can push it a little bit longer. Oh yeah, good point. Don't mind me. Sorry, just having to think that my checkbook's about to run out of checks. Yes, I still write checks. I'm still in situations where I need to, at least every once in a while. I mean, I ordered checks. What was it, back in like 2019, 2020? I'm just now finishing out the first book, so that tells you anything. But yeah, at this point, I write 16 checks in a year, 17 checks in a year. Sorry, I write one check a month for my uh, the loan payment for this condo, and every quarter I have to send in the HOA association dues, which go up and up and up every fucking year, despite the promises that when I first moved in, they were promising that raise that they had that year would be the only one until 2025. Well, they've been raising it every year since 2020. So yeah, they're big fat fucking bunch of liars. So yeah, so that's 16, and then the 17th is the yearly check to the city for the property taxes, which are mercifully low for 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 the region anyway. I think I'm paying about half of what my mom's paying for her condo for the property tax bill. And yes, 1,000 square feet bigger than mine, but it still doesn't really seem fair. Anyway, I was just checking to make sure I had another book yet, so I don't have to worry about ordering more for a while. Even if those checks do have my dead name on them. Yeah. Yeah, I'm thrilled. Not at all. I hate that. I still have all those checks, but I'm too much of a cheapskate bite to order new ones until those are gone, so I guess I'm stuck. Um, Shit. I had something else. I know I had something else. but it's slipping my mind. Oh yeah. That's what it was. So I've been bouncing around some stuff for about the last 10, 12 years, maybe longer than that now. And I conceived a trio of characters who would each be the focus of their own book. I started the first one. I began work on that one back around 2012. Worked on it off and on in my free time till about what was it, 2014, 2015. And then I kind of just lost track of it for a while. In 2016, I finished what I figured would be the first draft. Shortly after I moved out over to my parents' condo because I was having financial issues at the time. Well, of course, then I kicked my PC, destroyed the hard drive in the process, lost a whole fuck ton of work because I didn't have any backups saved other than locally on the hard drive. There's nothing recent. So I had to go back to a partial backup I had stuffed in my email folder from about a year prior, and then rewrite the entire second half of the story all over again. I finished out the first draft of the story. It was later on that same year. Finished it, stepped away for a while, came back about a year, half a year to a year later, realized how much I hated it, and it kind of just sat there until earlier this year. Now all of a sudden I'm inspired to work on the story again. I actually wound up writing what was intended to just be a side story kind of thing to help me better figure out the character. But suddenly I'm working on that side story exclusively so I can tie it into the main story that I conceived to begin with, using this as the lead-in, or as part of the lead-in into the main story. Just realizing just how much better I've gotten at writing in the years since then. Kind of glad that I hate the original, because yeah, I'm gonna tear that thing apart and probably rewrite about 90% of it. But I feel good about having this this lead-in story. Actually, what's gonna wind up being is I got a lead-in story leading into another lead-in story, which then directly ties into the main original story. It's not as complicated as I'm making it out to be, but yeah, basically, I had the entire thing written out on Google Docs thing, and then took a notebook, just as an aside thing during some downtime at work. Yeah, I just started scribbling off this. Okay, well, how about we just plop down this random middle of conversation thing between her and her companion, and just see what happens as far as the dialogue goes, and let's invent a scenario where where things get a little testy. Go from there, and okay, well, all of a sudden I've got this exchange between the two of them. One tells the other that she's really pissed off with her. They part ways for the night, and it's like, okay, well, okay, main character, she's kind of a nomad, you know, comes and goes as she pleases. And it's like, okay, well, how am I gonna fit this into into a scenario where she's able to support herself? And I figured, okay, you know what, she's, she's essentially, a rogue class character. I'm kind of leaning on some of the D&D tropes and such, but in classes, sans the magic, there's none of that going on. But I just got thinking, okay, what can I do, so that she's actually not just pilfering and stealing all these. So I gave her a job that would, that would support, the idea of being out and about so much. And all of a sudden, well, okay, so we got this job, and she's got, got a reason to leave town. Okay, how are you going to leave town in such a way that she gets away long enough and stays out, in the wilderness and the world at large for an extended period of time? So like, okay, well, what can I do here? Okay, so the current mode of transit is not working for this particular style of things, so I reworked that. I'm actually still trying to rework that for travel lanes and whatnot. So all of a sudden I'm just like, okay, well, now I've got to figure out a city. It's like several days journey away from where we started at, and I just wound up building this whole big fucking world without even trying to, all because you got bored one day. So I'm just working on trying to tie all that together now. And this is just the first book and first drafts and everything, but I'm feeling pretty good about it right now. I mean, I'm struggling with with some of the continuity of it. Between one event to the next, I do have to keep a pretty good sized gap in time because I start off with one event, but there's this months long gap in between where I need to figure out, okay, there's going to be a lot of tedium, a lot of repetition. They're just doing the same thing over and over again for days, weeks on end. So I got to bridge that gap. I got it pretty well in hand right now. But then we're going to fast forward to about a half year later, where we can finally begin to tie in with that second side story, with the arguments and the distance traveling and everything. Yeah, I'm working on it. Like I've got the basic, the basic layout in my mind right now. I just need to put it to paper. Hope it all works out. Meanwhile, after I got that done, I've I have a conclusion to allow me to tie in with book number 2, which will focus on a different character. And it'll be several years have passed by since the first book, so you'll have a chance for this character to be, an older, wiser version of who they were to begin with. And they will be accompanied by another character that was introduced in the first book. Not the focal character from the first book, but a guest character, if you will. And I don't really have much of the detail worked out for the second book, but I do have the conclusion pretty well mapped out as far as what happens at the end, and how that will lead into the third book, which focuses on the third character, the one who was the companion of the character from the second book. So it's going to be, it'll all be intertwined at the end of the day. I just need to figure out how to intertwine all of it. But yeah, that's definitely a multi-year project. But still, I'm getting pretty good feelings about this because I just I just looked at what I wrote, in the beginning compared to what I'm writing now, and I feel so much better about expanding dialogue, you know, being more descriptive about actions and environments, and just feel like I have grown as a writer, even though I'm just I'm just going by whatever comes naturally. So, and I intend to translate that over into the original story too. I mean, I read through that thing from time to time, and I just realize that, yeah, I need to expand the descriptions here. I need to expand the dialogue here. I need to clarify, reword this and that, and maybe put the page break here, add in some additional dialogue or additional narrative here. Just it is all coming together. I just wish I could do it faster. But I have no idea how long the process is going to take, but I do wish I could finish it before next year. Not likely to happen that fast, but you never know. Maybe I'll get really motivated on my days off and put the games down for for the full 72 hours and just go ham on the whole thing. Okay. That yawn means that I am getting tired and my eyes are getting heavy. So I'm going to end this here and I'm going to go to bed because, yeah, I'm tired. I'm very tired. I was up all night working because I got a job that I guess pays the bills. Okay. Anyway, I'm done. I'll let you go. I'll be back sometime between now and the end of the month. I don't know. I got a lot of shit I gotta do as far as preparing for Camp Icon, getting this place cleaned up so that my neighbor doesn't call the city inspector to condemn the place because God damn, I've got so many packages, like empty boxes and shit downstairs that just need to be organized and cleaned up. Yeah. Not to mention a fuck ton of recycling that needs to go out and not just in bags. God damn, I'm terrible. Anyway, I got stuff to do on my days off. I'll hopefully get to it. Yeah, but in the meantime, I gotta sleep so I can go back to work tonight. Gotta make that fucking money somehow, right? Anyway, I'll talk to you later.